Just real quickly, for the last 2 minutes, I want to talk about just kind of some real-world scenarios where a lot of these slides came from was from the experience that we had migrating these customers. And so it came from 2 Domino migrations that we've had. One customer went through a 2-hop. It was a 1,200 user company. They did it all in one weekend, but they just did a very minimal calendar only. Had a lot of learning that went on with that. One thing that was really good is they had a very good process for the end users. Like the next day they had 1,200 users that had to come up on Outlook and understand it and use it, and they had a really good process for kind of deploying that out there and getting everybody trained. I had another customer that went 1,400 again. This is from Domino. They did it in one weekend also. They used some several tools. They used actually the Quest tools, and they did a front-loaded migration. So they preloaded everything, and then they swapped over the weekend. We did a group-wise migration, also another weekend migration where we did 800 users. An IMAP migration where we did 3,700 users in a single weekend. This was a limited migration where they only migrated 90 days of content. And so probably their biggest issue there was managing users and passwords after the migration. And so it was just very difficult because their user community was very dispersed. It was all over the United States. And so they had to figure out how do they quickly get all these passwords out there. And then we've had some Exchange migrations. A recent one, we had an 800 user migration, again, also done over a single weekend. And plus then they had, and they migrated everything, just their whole content plus resources. They had to increase their bandwidth. What they did is they purchased a very high bandwidth for 4 weeks just so that they could have enough time to make sure that they had the migration. Even though they did it over the weekend, they wanted to give them kind of themselves a window. And they just brought up a bank of machines and they said, okay, let's move them. And just moved everybody. It took about, I think it was less than 2 days that they migrated all mailboxes and everything. So so that was one of the things is they actually did a lot of reports about the number of content. They actually, after they migrated, they reported on the mail messages that were in everybody's mailbox before and after. And if they saw more than like 20 items difference, they're like, oh my gosh, things have there's a problem. And it turns out a lot of the issues were because RSS feeds. We don't migrate RSS feeds because we figure once you get on a new environment, you just start up your feed again. And so some people had these huge RSS feeds. And so after they migrated, they're like, oh my gosh, you missed 10,000 items. And no, it wasn't. There was a 10,000 item in an RSS feed that they could just sign up for it again. They'd get the same things again. So, anyways, these are some real. This is kind of where these slides and all of the all the content here has come from the experiences we've had. The thing I really want everyone to think about is you can get up on a trial and go give it go try the tools and download the migration. The directory sync is a one-way sync, so it doesn't really impact your AD. You can run the migration tools; they'll just copy everything on up, but it'll leave your on-premise mailbox alone. So just get on a trial and go through the tools and give it a try. So and these are pretty much the customers. Keith, was there something that you wanted to add?
No, anybody have any questions?
So, all right, we're actually 1 minute over, 1 minute 30 seconds over time. So what I think we're going to do, we are the last session, so I'd be more than glad to hang around for a few minutes. I'm going to close up and say thanks everyone for being here. I know it's the last session on late in the week, but I appreciate everybody coming to hear about migrations to Microsoft Online. So thank you very much.
Thank you.